everything we know so far about Season 3, 4, 5, and also the Vessel of Hatred expansion. 2024 promised to be quite packed with content, and Season 3 on the 23rd of January is the first thing we're looking at. The main headline information we've gotten so far is the Gauntlet, Leaderboards, and Hall of Ancients. How's this supposed to work? Let me tell you up front, this thing will be accessible for everyone, not only for the ultra hardcore grinders that just dedicate their life to the game. The Gauntlet is a fixed seed, and it's non-linear. It's going to have multiple ways to play through, let's say A, B, and C lane, but this A, B, and C lane is always the same. Monsters in the same position, layout of the rooms the same, affixes, everything for 1 week. And then the Gauntlet dungeon changes, which means with this fixed seed dungeon, you can essentially figure out the best way to play through the current weekly version to then climb your solo barbarian, druid, necro, whatsoever leaderboard. And yes, here's the interesting part. This is available world tier 4, level 100 doesn't even have to be reached, but obviously if you want to kind of min-max, you want to be level 100 with all the Paragon points and good equipment. You can essentially figure out the best build for this week's dungeon, and then if you've reached level 100, compete for a leaderboard slot. There's no loot dropping throughout the Gauntlet. Loot drops at the end of the timer. What monsters and chests drop though is called Proofs of Might. These need to be picked up to raise your score to get the best leaderboard score. You will achieve a seal regarding your score you've gotten, and if you get Seal of Worthy here, that puts you in the top 1000. So kind of like, don't even have to be number 1 to get something cool. Nah, this is your goal right now, top 1000, which already would be killer. And yes, these seals are going to be portrait frames that you can show off. So if you actually, during the whole season, manage in one of these always the same dungeons, maybe from your favorite content creator or so on, get a build that will then allow you to actually achieve this seal, which is such a cool thing that you can actually finally show off some of your achievements to the world. Now, the leaderboards will essentially show off the top 1000. So in the game, you can kind of check out who is the best of the best of the best. But this will change every single week. So maybe Rob2628 has the perfect figured out on week 1, but on week 2, there's another barbarian who actually figured out the next dungeon a little bit better. Same goes for Necro with me, Macro Be A Boy, and all the other cool Necromancer creators, or one of you out there in the community. Every week this changes. Every week you have a chance to be the new number 1 and to maybe beat out everyone else that's been there. There's not only solo though, there's also 2-player parties, 3-player parties, and 4-player parties. And then for our friends from the hardcore community, there's also their own leaderboards, and then obviously the softcore leaderboards. Now finally, the big banger, why you would maybe want to push super hard, is the Hall of Ancients. The Hall of Ancients is a permanent leaderboard that cements the top 10 players from each week in every season forever. Now, I'm not saying that I kind of want to be in that top 10 every single week. But if I'm honest with you, as a content creator, and especially as someone who prides himself in making very good necro builds, I kind of want to be there. And again, only because I make good builds doesn't mean I'm actually good playing. There's probably people out there, you, maybe in front of the PC, who's actually better than me at playing. Maybe not at the ideation stage of coming up with a good build, but at then playing the actual build. Because no one says I'm actually good at the game, you know? I can just put together some stats and min-max and make things work. But we'll finally see if you're also good at actually playing. The cool thing about this is it kind of delivers limitless content. So right now we're at a point where, what am I going to make a video about? But with this leaderboard kind of existing and with this dungeon kind of existing, I can always try out different builds every single week. Does this one work better on this version of the dungeon? Does that one work better on this version of the dungeon? How to maximize your score? Is maybe Blight or Reap the most important skill to take for route ABC? And if you're playing with friends, who goes route ABC? So much content to create for you out there who do like Diablo for as much as I do. That's not all of it though. Season 3 has another interesting change coming, which was brought to us by the Blood Harvest. Helltide is now going to be available forever. Technically forever, because it's 55 minutes available, and then 5 minutes of downtime, and then 55 minutes available. So they actually stole 5 minutes from us, but we're getting it forever now. I do hope that's not the only change though, because Helltides are interesting. But what I'm missing in Helltides is being randomly attacked. You know, in Blood Harvest, when you kill things and the Bloodseekers are coming and they're jumping you and trying to tear out your throat? Yeah, that's completely missing right now in the Helltide. I mean, we have Gregor the Galvanic Saint. He's the leader of the Helltide, and he's the Helltide general because you get the Living Steel for him. So why don't his lieutenants, sergeants, jump you as you spend more time in the Helltide, kill more things, make it more dangerous, have a chance for you to die because you're being jumped by 4 skeleton elites that all have a life bar, and drop a copious amounts of cinders as well. Same as the Blood Siphon we have in the Blood Harvest. I kind of want something in the Helltide area as well, because that thing was so cool. You stay in there, high risk, high reward. I might die because I'm like min-maxing a little bit too much, but I have the payout potential of getting more minions, more of these lieutenants or sergeants pushing you, that then gives me even more cinders. Why do I have to just have a scheme ABC to play this? Why is there not risk reward opportunities for Helltides happening? 925 item power can be quite annoying, because right now you had to kill Duriel or the world boss for it. The world boss gave you an instant power boost, that's cool. Duriel takes a little bit of time to get there, but it was also the only opportunity to really get 925 items. Nightmare 100 dungeons, I just stopped picking them up. World drops, I just stopped picking them up, like no care. So Blizzard wants to add more sources of 925 items. I guess Gregor should drop them also, Varshan as well. Tier 100 dungeons should at least drop 900 plus. But if I'm getting an 832 item or an 860 item in a tier 100 dungeon, it feels so weird because I'm doing the last content, the endgame content. And yet, you're not allowing me to get the best gear from that. Pick up all the other unnecessary things. We'll get to itemization changes later, which will tie into this pretty nicely, because this is something for Season 4. We haven't known much about Season 4 yet, but a couple of things are already on the way, and that is an itemization change. Sadly, we're not looking at that with Season 3. Now, there is a couple of creators who have gotten already secret insight in that, and they have already shared quite some information with us in the latest campfire chats. And the main thing they're looking at is getting rid of affixes. I mean, right now we have like 50 good affixes, and then we have 200 filler affixes, which are shit. Damage on Tuesdays, maybe every Saturday this will work. Movement speed after killing an elite. Thank you very much, useless. Or also that a glove can have 3 ability skills, because no one wants to have Blight, Bone Spear, and Blood Surge on one glove. That will never work. Maybe 2 core skills, but 3. So there needs to be systems in places that stop items from having certain combination of affixes that are never desirable. Just simply never. You don't want boots that have 4 resistance stats. Well, okay, some of you want that, but if a boot could have a maximum of 2 resistance stats on a roll, you could still roll a 3rd one. If a glove could have a maximum of 2 different ranks, or even only 1 rank of ability plus 3 other affixes for damage, you could still roll your 2nd skill you need. So these things, these systems need to be in place to make better items in total, that you're getting less wasteful items, where you're looking at 1 good affix and then the other 3 are just complete trash. Making better affixes is the most important step 1, because right now picking items up is just pure frustration and no joy anymore. But there's more that needs to be done with itemization, and that is down to the Codex of Power and aspects, because right now aspects are absolutely low roll in the Codex of Powers, and you keep finding more powerful ones. And if you then break it down, it actually lands here in the aspect tab, which is stupid, because we already have the Codex of Powers. Why wouldn't the aspect land in the Codex of Powers? Not only land in the Codex of Powers, if I find an absolutely high roll affix of disobedience, then the existing disobedience for this season should be that high roll, and I can always pull it out. Now you would say, Pony, but that ruins the farm. They want us to farm, right? Yeah, farm. Have you heard of farm? The thing is, it wouldn't ruin the farm. It would make you farm more meaningful things. Because right now, if I'm looking, for example, for my Umbral Aspect Max roll that I need for a certain build, or even exposed flesh, then I would have to mindlessly grind obols with world events to then go to the curiosity vendor and hope that I potentially would get the aspect I'm looking for. Whereas if I had the aspect here max rolled because I already found one in my Codex of Powers, I could continuously pull it out and enchant it on my items. But then if I find a new item, I'm not being punished for that. Because right now you find a good new item, like here we find a new pants with a higher item power, but I have this 1.1% on it. Well, for one pants, I can pull it down and put it on the next pants, right? But then for the pants after that, I'm literally being punished for finding it. Because the next charge I have from the Codex of Powers would be the min roll, or I would have to find another max roll. So not only have I be lucky to find the perfect item to replace my existing item, I also have to find another version of the perfect aspect. And that is not fun. That is not farm. That is just frustration and annoying. So if they are not starting to utilize the Codex of Powers better, the player frustration is only going to rise and not going to diminish, despite what they're planning to do with items in general. Aspectization change is probably one of the biggest things needed to just take out this, I found a new item, but I can't use it because I don't have a max roll aspect that I could then imprint on it. Pain. Now, there's something they mentioned, and that would be a significant change as well, and that would be an item journey. That we're not only having items that need to be replaced, know that we also have items that we can keep and make stronger over time. Like we said earlier, if you disenchant 10 unique items, or if you find 10 other versions of a unique you already have, why can you not funnel them into your unique to slowly boost up the stats of that? I have a 2-second roll on my Ring of Sacrilegious Souls, but I found another 10 Sacrilegious Souls with 2 seconds. Why can I not boost this down to 1 second with the other 10 rings instead of just mindlessly disenchanting them? Which would give us an item journey, less frustration, more fun. These itemization changes, they cannot come soon enough, to be honest. Now, Season 4 can be expected around April, because January, we're going to be starting here right now with Season 3. Season 4 is in April. So if you're super unhappy with the current item thingies in Diablo, maybe play some other games until April to then join back with us, but you're going to miss out on Season 3. Now, there's one more thing, and that is already a big controversy and things going on, and that would be the Vessel of Hatred expansion that is supposed to come end of the year. Now, this year is going to have Season 4, that would be April, Season 5, that is July, and then Season 6, that is potentially going to be October. If Season 6 is not already the expansion, because if Season 6 would be October, then we would technically have to wait until January for the expansion. So technically, Season 6 should already be in October, the next expansion, which is Vessel of Hatred, which will play in the new region. Yes, we're going back to the jungle for Mephisto to rip out his soulstone. Now, the biggest change that will come there is obviously Kuras as the new region, but also that we're going to get a complete new class that has never been there before. AKA, we're not getting a Crusader, we're not getting a Paladin, Bard. Yes, Bard was Diablo 1 back in the days, Monk or whatsoever. We might be getting something completely new, a Holy Priest. The Blood Knight actually from Diablo Immortal. Yes, I still want that. So something never been there before, including also rumored class changes. That might either be a level cap raise, but if there's a level cap raise, we also need more Paragon shebangs, or we need more skills, better skill trees, smarter thought out things, because some of our class concepts are quite lacking. Wink wink, Necromancer not being so good. All in all, what Blizzard has planned seems quite good for me, and I am excited. That being said, there's still a lot of issues to tackle. The game will get better over time, that's undoubtedly true. And if you right now don't enjoy it, wait a little bit, maybe it'll get better in the future. But what I'm most excited for right now is just Season 3 coming and finally testing my mettle, finally seeing, am I good enough to really be a top 1000 Necro for my region? Because I can't compete with the agents, they're crazy. I mean, have you seen them farm their Tears of Blood to level 25 already? Mental. Now, if you already want to get prepared for Season 3, I brought out the ultimate level guide that will work for every single season, because the mythology that we're putting down there is just solid. Check it out. Give me feedback.